Do you trust Utah Jazz owner Ryan Smith? He spoke yesterday at the Global Sports Congress of your mom's house.
Yeah.
He spoke yesterday about hockey coming to Salt Lake City. This is a longer clip. It's 1 minute and 50 seconds, which we usually don't do. In this clip, what did Ryan Smith not say he was trying to do with his hockey team?
If you can catch this bus and bring an NHL team to Utah, what are you most excited about and what are you most concerned with?
I have incredible faith in the people of Utah. We show up. And we just had the NCAA tournament there, and like the arena was packed at 11 a.m. in the morning. UFC came in this summer, and like fights start at 4 p.m. and like everyone from UFC is like, "Why are people here at 4?"
The PLL they showed up for.
Yeah, the PLL. So like we show up. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about showing that. But look, I want to spend all my time this summer launching a whole new brand and going through all the little things and every single little detail. That's not really what I would love to do. I'd love to be over at the Olympics and like everyone else hanging out and doing these things or being up on the lake. But reality is you can't blink when these things come along. And I'll never forget going through the Jazz transaction, and it happened to coincide that it was the exact same week of closing as our IPO. And I'm like, what are we doing? The amount of work that goes in to announce these things, everything else, like, what are we doing? And it's just like, don't blink, just go. And a year later, like, you're sitting there going, okay, we're good. And so with this situation, there is so much work to do. There's practice facilities, there's you name it, we've got it. There's nothing we don't have to go do. We'll find a way. If everyone's in, like, we'll find a way. We've done harder stuff.
Okay. Jake, what did he not say there?
Our priority is to win a Stanley Cup. I'm so excited about bringing this team to Salt Lake City and really showing the nation, our country, what we're capable of here.
Winning a champion. I'm excited about bringing a Stanley Cup champion to Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
But what did he say? And we were sitting here in our meeting this morning, listening to this clip, and we listened to it like 4 or 5 times. And I think it's very interesting that he talked about filling up the building. Essentially said, and I'm going to play a part of it again here in a minute. He essentially said, yeah, we want people to come and watch hockey in our building. Never talked about winning. Never talked about having an elite hockey franchise. Never talked about achieving great things in hockey. Talked about launching a brand. When have you ever successfully launched a brand?
Legitimate question. Like, seriously, take a second and think about that. Because it hadn't really crossed my mind until I was like, oh, well, when you talk about a brand, what has really been successful? Because the uniform thing with the Jazz is now like a laughing, running joke in the Jazz community. Like, initially we were the only ones saying that brand was awful. And like now it's just a running accepted joke in the community that rebrand was terrible. And like, whether it was the purple jersey thing, the yellow thing, like, it's terrible. And again, I'm always really intentional when we talk about Ryan Smith about pointing out that we're not making it personal. We're going off of what he's saying and what he's doing. So you didn't talk about and haven't talked about for quite some time. And I would love someone to send me the clip if they can find it of him anytime in the last 90 days or this year, this calendar year, 2024, talking about winning an NBA championship with the Jazz. What did we get out of Danny Ainge the other day? Hey, well, we got to go out and find 2 guys that can allow us to go big game hunting, that can allow us to go and push us forward. So I'm not hearing about winning per se out of Danny Ainge. I'm hearing about finding some players that can help push us forward. I'm not hearing about winning on the NBA court from Ryan Smith, and now I'm definitely not hearing about winning on the ice. All I'm hearing about is IPOs, launching brands, and filling up the building. That's all I'm hearing about.
You do not hear him talk about winning championships.
If you can catch this bus and bring an NHL team to Utah, what are you most excited about and what are you most concerned with?
I have incredible faith in the people of Utah. We show up. And we just had the NCAA tournament there, and like the arena was packed at 11 a.m. in the morning. UFC came in this summer, and like fights start at 4 p.m. and like everyone from UFC is like, why are people here
Well,
at 4?
The PLL they showed up for.
Yeah, the PLL. So like we show up. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about showing that. But look, I want to spend all my time this summer launching a whole new brand and going through all the little things and every single little detail. That's not really what I would love to do. I'd love to be over at the Olympics and like everyone else hanging out and doing these things or being up on the lake. But reality.
So wait, you don't want to do it then? You don't want to be bringing a hockey team to Salt Lake City and going through all the little details. You'd rather be up on the lake. Do you guys see what I mean?
It's what he said. I mean, that is legit what he said.
He said he would rather be up on the lake than bringing a hockey team to Salt Lake City. And we are supposed to believe that this guy, he'd rather be doing anything else, going to the Olympics, going up to the lake, than launching a brand. Legitimately, that's what he said.
Yeah.
And we're just supposed to believe that somehow this dude he's the right guy. Notice that he talked about, well, the fans, I have great confidence in our fans
So
in Salt
much
Lake
faith.
City because they showed out for the UFC and the NCAA tournament. One-off events that are never here. Why are you selling Jazz tickets for $12? You have such great fans and you do such a great job branding that you're selling Jazz tickets for $12?
We show up.
So you show up if the tickets are $12 because you haven't spent money, you haven't invested in the team. And I can only sit here and tell you again, I'll continue to say it over and over again. We report something and then everybody else runs with it. Anybody hear Tim McMahon on ESPN yesterday? Will Hardy's a problem for the Utah Jazz. Tim McMahon and Spence Checketts now reporting that there's a problem with Walker Kessler.
That Walker had issues.
How many times have I said that on this show?
What did we say? Why is it that in the first half of the season, Walker was a starter, playing starters minutes, totally developing, everything was great, everyone's happy, and then all of a sudden, what, now Walker's a bench guy, bench contributor, and what happened?
What else did Tim McMahon say? Yeah, Lauri Markkanen's available. So let me get this right. Not only did you trade Rudy and Donovan and Boyan and Buckets will bench, which I'm fine with. I would have kept on, but I'm fine you made those moves. Now you went and got Lauri Markkanen and you're going to trade him too. And your big move of the offseason was John Collins and he's available. And Keontae George isn't a number one. And then Danny Ainge, who hasn't spent a fucking red cent on this roster, sat up there yesterday and said, well, you know, we're going to go and do everything we can do to find two guys who can push us forward. We haven't been able to do that for the last 2 years. You're telling me you couldn't find one guy? You couldn't find one guy because you weren't willing to pay for him.
And you weren't willing to trade Jordan Clarkson.
The amazing part about this whole conversation is Ryan Smith is sitting in front of you, selling you a bag of shit wrapped in a gold leaf bag. And you're like, dude, that's a gold leaf bag. Holy cow. He is spit shining a turd here, friends. We don't in Salt Lake City. We do not show up 82 times a year to anything. There's not going to be a hockey fan, in my opinion, in 3 years down the road. Are you telling me that there's going to be a Salt Lake Yetis fan who's going to support that hockey team 82 nights a year? 80 games a year, excuse me. You're telling me who's going to 40 hockey games every single season? The only way you're doing that is if they win. And again, not for nothing, just asking for a friend. When has Ryan Smith built anything in sports that has won? He hasn't built the Jazz, hasn't spent on the Jazz, hasn't built RSL, hasn't spent on RSL, and he is supposedly going to bring an NHL franchise here that is going to win. And again, on the record, I think that the first 3 years that place is going to be sold out.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a novelty. It's the new hot chick. She's a 6-foot blonde with a huge rack.
Yeah.
You're going to go see her.
Well, and I think your point about one-off events plays right into that, right? Why was the building full at 11 for the tournament? Because it's the tournament.
What, UFC.
Yeah.
UFC did all this great shit, right? Oh my God, it's amazing. Why did that happen? Because there were press conferences. There was huge money spent on marketing. Hey, we got to fill it up. 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 Filled it up. Okay, so then I ask if this is such a hockey crazy town, why are the Grizzlies not drawing? Well, Monty, they had 6,000 fans a game this year. Huh, wonder how that happened. You know, the other thing Ryan Smith sat up there and said, oh man, I've been, this came together quickly. Ryan Smith is not being genuine when he says that, because this hockey thing didn't come together quickly. It's been 5 fucking years he's been chasing that team.
Yeah.
And remember what he said at the Gail Miller press conference. Oh, we're going to take this team from the Millers and we're going to push it forward. It's my dream. I'm a Jazz fan.
Grew up
Utah
here.
And love this team. We're going to push it forward. We're going to do all this stuff and we're going to build shit and we're going to win championships. How's that working out? The savior of the Utah Jazz. Here's the other thing I would ask you. Again, last night I'm walking downtown because I'm a guy, believe it or not. Mrs. Monty puts a leash on me and drags my ass downtown again last night. She didn't really have to drag me. We got in the Beamer and went, but that's fine. Yeah. When I went to the Symphony and last night, what did I see? And I went out of my way not to talk about it when it happened. Dude sleeping in a doorway, wearing shorts and a tank top, and it's 50 degrees out. So those billions of dollars we're all going to pay for that tax hike downtown. Anything going to change with the homeless, the addicted, the
suffering,
the out and out suffering that's going on in this town right now?
Yeah.
Nope. Media going to call out Ryan Smith? They're not. They're not.
You know, the other thing that bothered me about that clip, just something I took away from it was, he's up there talking about this and he's trying to frame it like right there. And we don't even play it again, but at the end of the clip, and you can find it on Twitter, but at the end of the clip, he goes on this thing about how it's like, oh, well, if everyone's in, we'll find a way. We'll find a way.
So if everyone's in,
we'll find a way.
This is a hockey crazy town. What do you mean?
But this is my thought. Ryan, how can you say, quote, everybody's in when you didn't put it to a public vote?
Oh, don't even get me started on that. The thing that I think you have to embrace is this cat's not about winning.
No.
Ryan Smith, I don't think he gives a rat's ass if the Jazz win a championship.
I'm not even confident, to be honest with you, and I do say this genuinely. I'm not confident that this dude is passionate about the business of winning. Like, hey, like, it's one thing to say I'm going to go out and pay people to go out and make a winner. It's another thing as an owner, and we see this in sports all the time. It's another thing as an owner, like Mark Cuban, to be passionate about going out and building the roster and winning. Steve Ballmer, right? Like the folks in Kansas City, like we've seen it.
Steve Ballmer, we make jokes about the size of Steve Ballmer's balls. And
why do we do that?
He is? Because he sits courtside and he lives and dies with every bounce of the basketball.
I say I'm just fired up to be here today.
And look how much money he spent on that team. And look how much of his own money, all of it, he put into that new arena. How much taxpayer money did he get for that new arena in LA? Not a penny. Mark Cuban, say what you want about his teams now. Mark Cuban's got 2 legitimate superstars. He spends money on that team and they've won a championship. So you want to say that he's put money back in his pocket or that he fostered a terrible environment with everything that happened in their front office? Okay, yeah, all that's true. He won and he made mistakes. I can get on board with that because he owned it. He said, we won and I made mistakes.
And what was he just out the other day saying?
I paid $280 million in taxes this year. I just cut my check to the IRS.
And I'm proud to do it for this community. So don't tell me that this guy is a billionaire, because I don't buy it. I don't buy that Ryan Smith is a liquid billionaire the way Mark Cuban is, or Steve Ballmer, or Matt Ishbia in Phoenix. I don't buy it, dude.
The only, and here's the thing you need to understand. I think a lot of people overlook this as well. The Phoenix Coyotes, Arizona Coyotes thing.
Yeah.
Why are they being sold? Why did it not work in Arizona? Because they were never able to get their own building. So the guy that owns the Coyotes is going to sell them to Ryan Smith. And Ryan's going to pay about $1.5 billion. They're promising this guy in Phoenix that he'll get a new expansion team if he's able to secure a land deal to build an arena. The only difference between what's happening in Arizona now and what's going to happen in Salt Lake City then is that he has an arena deal done, paid by all of us.
Yeah.
It's the only difference. Arizona, I lived there, covered sports in that town. I'm telling you now, that's not a hockey town. Oh, but Austin Matthews in the youth hockey system. Absolutely right. That doesn't make it an NHL town.
Yeah.
You know the biggest problem with Phoenix and the Arizona sports community? It's transient. There's no passion for the Diamondbacks. There's no passion for the Coyotes. There's no passion for the Cardinals. And why is that? Well, one, it's a transient town. It's known as Chicago West. So I never went to Diamondbacks games. I went to Cubs games. I never went to Coyotes games. I went to Blackhawk games.
Yeah.
I never went to Cardinal games. I went to Chicago Bears games. And the other problem is they have ownership that tries to sell you a bill of goods and won't spend money on the team. So now, what do we have? We have an owner that tries to sell you a bill of goods. He quite literally sat up there with Sports Business Journal at the Sports Congress, the World Congress of Sports, and said, I have belief in the fans. They'll show up. Wait, you've been selling us this fucking bullshit that this town's on fire for the NHL. You went on Pat McAfee and said this town's on fire for the NHL. And now that you got the team, now we're going to truth tell and say you have faith in the fans of Salt Lake City that they'll show up. But wait, I thought there was like a demand. And so you got the team, you got your tax money handed to you without going to a ballot. And now you're willing to say that the fans might possibly, I think they will sometimes occasionally show up. This after you told us you bought the Jazz, you were going to build a championship, and you haven't spent $1 on that team.
Yeah.
And
I was
now,
supposed to trust you.
I think you're probably going to do the same thing. And the best part for Ryan Smith is I actually think the Coyotes are a talented team with a base that could probably be built. Is he willing to build it? Is he willing to invest the money? Because in the NHL, you have to do two things. You have to draft really well, and then you have to buy talent to surround those guys that you draft well. That's what you have to do to win.
And my question is,
and I don't think he'll spend the money.
Actually, my concern is Ryan Smith is not a hockey guy. Why do you think Danny Ainge is in the organization? Oh, that's right, because Ryan went to BYU. Danny went to BYU. And everybody in BYU land knows everybody in BYU land. So
look at absolutely correct.
So,
but this is the Ryan Smith conundrum right here. Since Stockton, Malone, Ostertag, Hornacek, the Jazz really haven't been that good. My ass, they were the number one team in the Western Conference. They needed an influx of cash, and he didn't do it. You had you had Conley and Donovan and Boyan. Those three guys. Trade Rudy Gobert, get out from under that anvil of a contract.
Yeah.
Spend your money more wisely, and you'd have won a championship. He didn't do that. Not to interrupt you.
No, I agree completely. But my point is when you talk about winning in the NHL, Ryan hasn't won in the NBA, and he's got guys. in the front office. He's got one of the best front office operators the league knows. So you really telling me that this guy's going to bring in because my biggest fear is he's bought this team, he's brought him here, he got the arena deal, done without a public vote, as we've said numerous times. So what this is shaping up to be, in my opinion, is we're going to rebrand this hockey team, and you guys are just going to keep doing it how you've been doing it. That's what it looks like to me.
I think that's a fact.
Like I don't see like some huge change. I think that this is a hey, you guys come in and handle the hockey, and I'll do the rebrand and sell those ugly ass uniforms. Like that's what it looks like.
Yeah. I don't know. I have legitimate worries about it. Shooter Texas, you guys are saying Ryan Smith is a bad owner. The Dallas Cowboys are saying hold my beer.
What's the difference?
The Dallas Cowboys,
Jesus.
Does he spend money?
Yes.
Does he procure players?
Yes.
Does he build stadiums?
Yes.
Now, did he get help with his stadium from taxpayers? He did. But has Jerry Jones done anything detrimental to that town? He has, never mind that he's built a fan experience. Never mind that AT&T Stadium in Tarrant County, boy, is an entertainment mecca.
Yeah.
Never mind it's a destination. The guy spends money and makes a legitimate effort to win. Now, he also salts his McGriddle, which is his own fucking fault.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is, the guy spends money and makes a legitimate effort every single season to try and be the best team in the NFL.
Yeah,
and he just can't do it.
He takes care of that building, too. Like, we were just there last season for Big 12 Media Days. And I got to tell you, I was expecting that building to feel a little bit older. It's been there for a minute now. No, it's renovated. It looks pretty. Like, it's nice.
And he spends money.
Yeah, like they're in the playoffs constantly.
Do you guys understand the biggest problem that I have with Ryan Smith?
Yeah, I don't know. It just turned on. It is what it is.
The biggest problem that I have with Ryan Smith is the guy doesn't spend money. He does not invest in his talent.
And my biggest concern is I don't know the truth about why he doesn't spend money. I almost feel like I'd feel better if it was just simply put to me, yeah, I don't spend money because I don't have money to spend. Like, if that was just a public fact, I'd feel a little better. We probably wouldn't even be talking about this because I know that you're so strapped that you can't even invest in the roster. But I'm not confident that's what it is.
The better example is Chicago sports.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a shitty owner? Try being the Ricketts family, who won a championship with the Cubs and then hasn't spent a penny. You want to talk about being a shitty owner? Try being a Chicago White Sox fan. Try being a Chicago Bulls fan.
Yeah.
That's shitty ownership. Try being a Chicago Bears fan. That's shitty ownership.
Yeah.
Those are guys who don't spend money and don't develop talent. That's the Ryan Smith way of doing business. And the sad part is Ryan should be better than this. Is Ryan Smith a billionaire? I believe on the asset sheet, he's a billionaire. I don't believe he is close to a billionaire in his bank account.
He doesn't behave like a billionaire in a bank account. That's not how he behaves.
I don't believe that he is. And when you dodge the media and you dodge questions, he sat up there at the World Congress of Sports with a laughing interview there was not a single redirect or question asked and answered.
Yeah.
Because the guy will never be held accountable.
Nope.
He just will not tolerate it. Nick Roten. Spending plenty of money on BYU, yet did anybody see the billboard campaign that they rolled out yesterday for the new basketball coach at BYU, who was largely pushed for and selected by Ryan Smith?
But yeah, we're the assholes when we talk about Ryan Smith.
Big billboard campaign. Come
on.
Roten also says, I don't know about an owner, but as a BYU booster, Ryan is 10 of 10. Yes, he is. Absolutely. Dude, Reinsdorf is the emperor of bad owners, Brandon Butler says. He certainly is. Certainly is. UW fan Jim, he will be if Utah keeps giving him your money. Bro, do you understand? I've asked and answered, talked about it at length, why this tax hike, this arduous, onerous tax hike is ridiculous. Ryan Smith is a billionaire with BYU connections and Silicon Slopes who needs a handout. He needs a handout.
It's wild.
It's crazy to me. Are you not? You're a billionaire. Okay. Steve Ballmer, Stan Kroenke. Go do it the way they did it.
Well, and that's the thing.
Oh,
I
you're
have
not.
respect for it. It like when they do it that way, I'm like, yeah, dude, hey, you worked your ass off. Like with Ryan, as an example, this is what I would be saying if Ryan had done it privately with his money or private funding. Like basically, if he had done it any way besides public taxpayer money, I'd be saying mad props to Ryan Smith. Dude, you started Qualtrics, you liquidated it a little bit so you could buy the Jazz. Like now you've got that money, you use your relationships. Now you've brought an NHL team here, all on your dime.
Yep.
Cool, dude. That's your money.
Giggity. Ryan Smith owns teams for investment, not for championships. Don't disagree. What's the over-under on J2H is actually single? Loner phone wants to know. He's not single.
So,
what are you talking about?
So first question is, what the hell does that have anything to do with what we're talking about?
No idea.
Number one. And number two, no, I'm not single, man. Like
Alex Cooley. Ryan Smith is a businessman, straight up. I don't think he understands that winning will bring business. You got to spend money to make money.
You should have more takes like that, dude. For once, I agree with you.
Gumby fresh out. Winning cures all. Yes, it does. Giggity says, Alex, it's too easy to understand that winning is the product the consumer always buys. And you're exactly right. Always. I will pay every time the Blackhawks come to town to see my guy Bedard. I will. He just wants folks to appreciate his sacrifice. Such a humble man.
That really, it bothers me so much, dude. Gosh, if everyone's bought in, we can find a way.
He is the golly gee gosh buck guy.
Yeah.
And you could tell he was spinning. I'll play it one more time. Listen to how much contemplating he has to do to answer the question with the script.
If you can catch this bus and bring an NHL team to Utah, what are you most excited about, and what are you most concerned with?
I have incredible faith in the people of Utah. We show up. And we just had the NCAA tournament there, and like the arena was packed at 11 a.m. in the morning. UFC.
Look at the way he moves in his chair, and listen to the because he's spinning. He's spinning.
If you can catch this bus and bring an NHL team
Watch
to
how he
Utah,
shifts in his chair.
what are you most excited about, and what are you most concerned with?
I have incredible faith in the people of Utah. We show up. And we just had the NCAA tournament there, and like the arena was packed at 11 a.m. in the morning. UFC came in this summer and like a fight.
Like,
why are we not talking about, hey, like, my biggest thing is going to be, fulfilling my responsibility to bring a winner.
Well, look at how I've run the Jazz. If you watch the way we've built the Jazz into a championship.
You can't say that, Ryan, because you haven't spent money on the Jazz. Wow. Novel thought.
Have you had record-breaking attendance with the You haven't. $12
in a year.
tickets.
In a year, I might add, when the NBA as a league averaged 18,000 fans a night.
You're selling tickets for $12.
Come on, dude.
It's just awkward. There you go. That's my take on it. I think it is, yo, show still on? Yes. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? UW fan Jim, Jake, you should let him down easier than that.
No.
There is some sugar in the tank. Okay, Steve Walgamot. Ryan needs to take a public speaking class. He does. He's Ryan Smith for everything he is. Yeah. San Diego State Glenn, keep gaslighting Ryan. Signed, passionate Suns fan. Yeah.